Welcome to our Amman travel guide. Today, we're exploring Jordan's capital, a city of over 4 million people and one of the largest in the Arab world. We'll take you through the best things to do in Amman, from ancient sites like the Roman Theatre and the Citadel to popular spots like Old Downtown and Rainbow Street, as well as must-try Jordanian dishes. We've also included the best day trip options from Amman. Our journey began at the Roman Theatre, one of Amman's most iconic landmarks. Carved into the northern slope of Jabal al-Jofa, this massive amphitheatre once held about 6,000 spectators. It was built between 138 and 161 AD during Emperor Antonius Pius's reign, when Amman was still known by its Roman name, Philadelphia. Although it's still smaller than the Colosseum in Rome, here we could actually walk around and imagine what it was like to watch a show. And despite arriving an hour before closing time, staff promptly began shooing people out with half an hour to spare. That meant that although our entry ticket to the Roman Theatre also included 2 small on-site museums, we couldn't check them out. From the Roman Theatre, we made our way to the old downtown known as Al-Balad in search of dinner. This is the beating, chaotic heart of Amman, bursting with energy and charm. It's full of souvenir shops, local restaurants, and street vendors selling toys, snacks, and other goodies. It's also where we exchange money for Jordanian dinar. Although it can get crowded, the atmosphere is infectious, as it feels like the whole city has converged in this one place. We knew we wanted to try local Jordanian food for dinner, especially the national dish, mansaf. So we found this restaurant tucked in an alleyway that had good reviews. Mansaf is lamb that's been stewed in a fermented yogurt sauce, which results in a very tender meat. The sauce came in a separate jar, and a little is poured over the meat and rice as you eat. It's creamy, tangy, and slightly salty. We tried another national dish, maqluba, an upside-down rice and lamb dish. The food was delicious, but we were so full by the end that we were ready to head back to our hotel and slip it off. The next day, we set out to visit Amman's biggest attraction, the Citadel. This ancient city has seen many civilizations since the Bronze Age, from the Romans and Byzantines to the Umayyads and Arab dynasty. One of the Citadel's most iconic ruins is the Temple of Hercules, constructed around 160s AD by a Roman emperor. Not much of the temple is left today, but the massive columns that remain still dominate the skyline. Just standing near the ruins, I could tell the temple was massive and must have been a symbol of the city's power. We also found a giant stone hand, which once belonged to a statue of Hercules. When early Islamic rule spread through the region, the Umayyads built a palace complex right in the citadel. It was a huge site that even included a mosque and an audience hall with an eye-catching blue dome and wooden vaulted ceilings. But one of my favorite parts of visiting the Citadel was the view, looking out over Amman's sea of white and sand-colored buildings. Our next stop will be one of the oldest mosques in Amman. Built in 1989, the King Abdullah I Mosque is the only one in the city open to tourists. We thought the entrance was closed, but it turns out tourists can only enter through a side door via the souvenir shop. At the shop, we received some pamphlets about the mosque, and my wife put on some loose-fitting robes to ensure modest dress inside. The mosque is beautiful, with a turquoise dome and a serene atmosphere. I waited until the prayer hall was empty before going inside. Featuring a tall ceiling and a large circular chandelier, it was quite beautiful too. Rainbow Street is a trendy part of Amman known for its artsy, bohemian vibe. Located in the Jebel Amman neighborhood, it's lined with cafes, restaurants, art galleries, and boutique shops. Compared to downtown, it's much quieter, so don't expect a lot of action. We wandered through shops selling all kinds of souvenirs and crafts. One of our favorite finds were these packs of Dead Sea mud and products. Another unexpected highlight was a small burger stand claiming to have the best burger in town. For just one Jordanian dinar, we got a simple cheeseburger that was surprisingly juicy and delicious. We honestly wish we bought another. We also passed by the famous Al-Quds falafel, said to be frequented by Jordan's king and queen. However, it was closed when we came, sadly. We made our way downtown again and stumbled upon the oldest street library in Amman. This is Jordan's first lending library, originally founded in Jerusalem in 1922 and relocated to Amman in 1948. The library is known for its rare books and thousand-year-old manuscripts and was once a hub for intellectual exchange. You can bring a book to exchange for another or rent a book for a month for only 1 dinar. Peeking inside, we found a small space filled with books upon books, and outside, there's also a wide range of books, including international titles. For dinner, we wanted to try the legendary Hashem Restaurant with some friends. This is one of Jordan's oldest restaurants, a cultural institution that serves everyone from King Hussein to diplomats since 1952. Locals say, if you haven't eaten at Hashem, you haven't been to Jordan. You order by taking dishes on a paper slip, from their famous stuffed falafels to hummus topped with meat. Their kitchen works efficiently like clockwork, and our food arrived fast too. Authentic, affordable, and delicious, it was easily one of our favorite meals in Amman. Since dinner left us with a little room for dessert, we converged at Habiba Sweets, a local confectionery brand that's been serving sweets for over 70 years. This is one of the most popular places to try one of Jordan's most beloved desserts, knafeh. The sweet and salty dessert is made with cheese, syrup, and a crispy top, and we saw lots of locals enjoying this treat. But since it's quite rich, a small slice is usually enough, and it doesn't cost more than $1. Because Amman sits in the northern half of Jordan, it's at the center of a region dense with religious historical sites, especially for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This makes it an ideal base for day trips to places of spiritual importance. So for our third day, we traveled an hour outside Amman to Mount Nebo. This is where Moses, a central figure in all 3 religions, is believed to have stood to view the promised land before his death. To see the same view, head to this lookout platform next to a bronze serpent statue. Here, you'll be facing the Jordan Valley, the Dead Sea, and on clear days, you may even see Jerusalem and Jericho. Unfortunately, it was too hazy to see much when we visited. There's also interesting exhibits on the site, so you can take your time to look through them while you are here. Lastly, don't miss the Memorial Church of Moses, also situated on Mount Nebo. It has a lovely chapel and some well-preserved Byzantine mosaics that give a glimpse into Mount Nebo's long history. Near the area, there are mosaic workshops where you can see how mosaic products are made and buy some home too. Fair warning, they aren't cheap. Only 20 minutes away from Mount Nebo is St. George's Church in Madaba. It features a 6th century mosaic considered the oldest surviving map of the Holy Land. Discovered in 1884, you can see key biblical sites with stunning accuracy and detail, such as Jerusalem, the Dead Sea, and the Jordan River. Only a third of the original remains, but it's still a remarkable piece of history. Often called the Pompeii of the Middle East, Jerash has one of the most impressive and well-preserved Roman ruins in Jordan. The city flourished for centuries as a Roman trade hub, and is one of the most popular day trips from Amman, just an hour's drive away. Unlike Amman Citadel, Jerash spans a huge area. It's also filled with many temples, plazas, and theatres that are still mostly intact, making it feel like we were transported straight into the Roman era. A must-see is Hadrian's Arch, built in 129 CE for the emperor's visit, as well as the Oval Forum with its impressive ring of columns. There's just so much to see, like a less crowded version of Ephesus in Turkey. When we visited during the off-season, we had entire sections to ourselves, such as the theatre. To get to Jerash, we first took an Uber to Amman North Bus Terminal, then caught a shared minibus to Jerash for about 1 dinar. It took a while for the bus to fill up, and we had to switch buses along the way, so it's only worth it if you've got time. Ubers from Amman to Jerash cost around 18 dinar, so be cautious of taxi drivers offering unusually cheap rides. Should you get the Jordan Pass? The Jordan Pass covers entry to over 40 attractions across Jordan and can be a good deal depending on your plans. Most sites in Amman are cheap, with Jerash being the most expensive in this video at 10 dinar. But if you are staying at least 2 nights in Jordan, the pass also waives the 40 dinar entry visa fee. It also lets you skip ticket lines in many places. In my opinion, if you're only traveling within Amman, the Jordan Pass might not be worth it. But if you are planning to visit other parts of Jordan, such as attractions like Petra and Jerash and Wadi Rum, then the Jordan Pass quickly pays for itself and you may even save money. Amman traffic can get quite bad, so we've realized the estimated drive times are rarely reliable. For example, our ride from the airport to the hotel was meant to take an hour, but ended up taking almost 2. That said, once you're in the city center, especially around downtown, many attractions are close enough to walk to, and strolling through the streets can be part of the charm. For longer distances, or when we just didn't want to walk, we relied a lot on Uber. It's fairly affordable, but be warned that traffic can still slow things down. After trying a few hotels in Amman, we found one we can genuinely recommend. This little hotel along Al-Hashemi Street. Not only was it affordable, it's also super convenient. It's literally right across the Roman theatre, and we got a room with a balcony where you can see the whole theatre unobstructed. We were also just a short walk from the Citadel and downtown, which made exploring really easy. They also serve an amazing spread at breakfast with really tasty homemade hummus, totally worth it. That wraps up our guide to Amman. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Next up, we're heading to Wadi Rum and Petra, so stay tuned for our next video.